Hello and welcome to the space between Hello and welcome to the space between ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. Look at these guys. Just because they're freaking happy. Look at their smiles on their faces. Look at this guy. This girl's like, motherfucker. And this guy's like, what's up? This dude's like, what's up? And this dude's like, oh shit, it's on. It's like the challenge, man. It's like the freaking challenge. These dudes are like, yo, whoever's watching this shit, exactly, watching. All right, motherfuckers. Well, anyways, whether I do it or I don't do it, the issue is I have pretty deep knowledge in how this shit needs to get done. So, okay, so I think he had to vibe code the blog post itself because you can actually try the prompts yourself on the web page. It's time to start an AI first vibe coding platform. All right, I'm just gonna probably not gonna send it like that. All right, where are we? So we're talking about AI first. So let's get to AI. Oh, what's going on? What do I do? Let's get some AI first going on. So what I did was I thought, well, we better think through this. So the thing is, earlier today I finished my sprint. Maybe I should mention that. So just so you know, anybody who's watching this video, I'm currently doing a software project. I have zero software ability, but I do have a small understanding. I mean, okay, so I think that if you're going to do a software project, basically what you need to know is this. This is all you need to know if you're going to do a software project. When you're doing a software project, there's one person who kind of needs to have an idea for what the business looks like. You have to have one person who kind of has an idea for what the software, I mean, like the back end, the front end, the database, like the whole big project, what the gigantic project might be, where it might, what it might look like as an entity. And then probably the business analyst, they might also have some understanding of how that entity fits within an ecosystem of other entities. Then you got a tester, they're going to test the code, then the developers. So the architect is going to be controlling these two people to make sure that they are developing the project as it should look in general. And then you're going to be running sprints. So you need a scrum master to define the sprints. Then you got the project manager, which is going to be you because you're going to be working with your AI. Now, could you turn your project manager into actually an AI first? I mean, one of these people has to be a human because right now it's kind of hard to get AI just to do it by itself. You have to someone has to be driving the ship. Now, in addition to understanding like who's going to be in a general like team, you're also going to want to know like basically you got people who are using their hands. We call these people who use tools. And then you got people who are talking about workflows. So these are brains. What kind of workflows are we going to prioritize? And then we have to make decisions. So what are the key objectives? What are the results? So you can see here that at the beginning of a project, you might have the testers and the architect and the developers in a meeting talking about tools. And then eventually you're going to be talking from the analyst perspective to think about how are we going to apply those tools. Then eventually you're going to be having your project manager, your team lead, talk about your general what are we building and how are we building it. So this is a really basic framework for understanding a software development team. If you don't understand anything so far, don't worry, because you can just guide your AI chatbots to help you with this. Now, in addition, I would recommend that as you start to build your project, you're going to want to build some, I call them calibration tools, which means that you're going to be just creating a series of documents as you go step by step through your project because you need to calibrate. Now, because Gemini has a 1 million context window, it means you're going to be able to basically get through one whole sprint before it starts to go crazy. So, which means that you need to end the sprint and you have to have the documentation so that you can train, you can open up, it's called an AI instant. You're going to open up a new window, you're going to train that new model, and then you're going to run your next sprint. And when you get to the end of the sprint, you can see that the AI models, they start to like go crazy and they start to forget stuff and then they start to freak out because you're getting close to that 1 million context window. So I just finished my sprint number 2 for my own project. Now I'm starting sprint number 3. And now I have to say that like it's like a like a well-tuned, like my AI chatbots, my two windows. I call one liaison and one architect. They're really good, and I've gone back, like, so today I spent a couple of hours. I just went back. Oh, my alarm's gonna go off. My dog's gonna go crazy. He's not gonna like this. There we go. So I went back in. Actually, let me show you what the architect had to say. I went in and talked to architect, and okay, project manager. I received and thoroughly reviewed the draft for the sprint of the start 3. No, that's not this one. Okay, so what I did was, okay, so look, I'll upload some revised docs. Please check them, and I'll upload Liaison's proposal for Sprint 3. So I uploaded the project management and vision module. Okay, I uploaded the Sprint 2 review. So I completed Sprint 2, and then we created a Sprint 2 review document. And then five. Let's just look at the numbers. Once it stops going up, then we can stop. 6, 7, 0. All right. So then the second one I uploaded is called Liaison. So I uploaded. So you can see here version 2.0. So this is the workflow lessons and best practices for Liaison. So this document captures key lessons learned, effective prompting strategies, the best practices observed during Sprint 1 and Sprint 2 of the Management Guidance app MPV. It's intended to help project manager, user, or the future AI assistant, especially one taking on liaison or AIDE specialist role, to quickly understand and collaborative model and effectively interact with the chosen AI IDEs, Cursor, Windsurf, Replete, and the Architect AI. It should be loaded after the core projects document and the AI collaboration roles responsibility markdown file. General principles for AI assistant development. Clear roles and responsibilities. Our established model, iterative process, patience and precision, single source of truth, milestone parity, define clear milestones, ensure all active IDE environments complete a given milestone. And then, and then I also updated the architect document as well. So here's the workflow lessons and best practices for the architect. And I think most of the architect, I don't think changes too much. All right, so I upload these to architect. It says, okay, I got those documents. Here's my observation, Sprint 2 review. This document appears to be a complete and accurate version of that we finalized section by section in our previous interaction. It thoroughly captures the goals, accomplishments, decisions, blockers, learnings, project state, and readiness of Sprint 3. Excellent. Next one, this is a fantastic update. You've done an excellent job incorporating the rich learnings from Sprint 2. I can see clear enhancements and new sections that directly reflect our experiences, such as detailed explanation and consideration for milestone parity, the new principle of standardized of core utilities, the greatly experienced section for master startup prompts, entirely new and valuable section managing Prisma migrations with a shared dev database, updated observations on the strengths and quirks of AI IDE based on Sprint 2 tasks, the new future consideration for formalizing testing strategies, and then also the architect. So it updated some things with the architect as well. Then stop it. So yeah, so we're ready to go for Sprint 3. So you can see that that's what the architect had to say. And so you have to keep the documentation, because look, now I'm starting Sprint 3, and my liaison guy, he's starting to go off the rails. Now, he's not quite off the rails yet. So I did a new context window, and I put, okay, here's the YouTube video. I think he had to vibe code the blog post itself, because you could actually try the prompts yourself on the web page. It's time to start an AI first vibe coding blog platform. I was watching the above video, and I heard the above line within the transcript of the video, and I'm wondering what they were talking about and what that might mean in general and the steps to take to do that project. It's because I have no idea. I literally have no idea what they were talking about. So let's take a little listen.
An AI-powered future for blogging. The line you heard in the video, I think he had to VIB code the blog post itself, because you can actually try the prompts yourself on that web page. It's time to start an AI-first vibe coding blog platform. 2452 refers to a forward-thinking concept in web development and content creation. The speaker is highlighting a blog post where the author seemingly used AI to help create the content, even allowing readers to interact with AI prompts directly on the page. 2441. This sparked the idea for a new kind of blogging platform. Understanding AI, first vibe coding blog platform. Let's break down this term.
Yeah.
Vibe coding. This is a relatively new approach to software development. Instead of writing detailed, line-by-line code, a developer or user describes the desired outcome, functionality, or vibe of the software in natural language to an AI. The AI then generates the underlying code. The emphasis is on expressing intent and desired user experience, letting the AI handle much of the technical implementation. Think of it as describing software into existence. AI first. This signifies a platform where artificial intelligence is not just an add-on but a core, foundational component. In this context, AI would be integral to the creation, management, and interactive features of the blogs hosted on the platform. Blog platform. This is the underlying system, like WordPress or Medium, that allows users to create and manage their blogs. Therefore, an AI-first vibe coding blog platform would be a system where users can create and manage blogs primarily by describing what they want to an AI. This could include designing the look and feel of their blog through natural language, generating blog post drafts or outlines based on topics or ideas, creating interactive AI-powered elements within blog posts, like the example in the video where users could try the prompts, automating various aspects of blog management using AI. The core idea is to make blog creation more intuitive, faster, and accessible, especially for those who may not have deep technical coding skills, by leveraging the power of AI to translate ideas into functional blogs and engaging content. Steps to create such a platform. Conceptual outline. Creating an AI-first vibe coding blog platform is a complex undertaking, but here's a general conceptual outline of the steps involved, drawing inspiration from how one might approach vibe coding and AI application development. 1. Define the core vision and features. Clearly outline what users should be able to do. For example, describe blog layouts, generate articles, create interactive AI widgets, etc. Identify the target audience, e.g., writers, marketers, educators, developers. 2. Choose the right technology stack and AI models. Platform backend. Decide on programming languages and frameworks for the main platform, e.g., Python with Flask, Django, Node, JS. Front-end. Select technologies for the user interface, e.g., React, Vue, Angular. AI integration. Large language models, LLMs, integrate with powerful LLMs, like those from OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, etc., for natural language understanding, code generation, and content creation. This will be the heart of the vibe coding aspect. Specialized AI tools. Consider tools or APIs for specific AI functionalities, e.g., image generation, data analysis. Development environment. Utilize AI-assisted IDEs or platforms, like Cursor, Replit with its AI features that facilitate vibe coding for building the platform itself. 3. Develop the vibe to code content engine. This is the crucial component that translates user descriptions, vibes, into tangible outputs, blog structure, code for features, content, prompt engineering. Develop sophisticated systems for taking user input and converting it into effective prompts for the LLMs. Iterative refinement. Allow users to iteratively refine the AI's output by providing feedback in natural language. 4. Build the platform infrastructure. User management. Systems for user accounts, authentication, and authorization. Blog management tools. Standard blogging features. post editor, media library, categories, tags, comments, database, to store user data, blog content, configurations, etc., deployment and hosting, infrastructure to host the platform and the blogs created on it. 5. Focus on user experience, UX, and interface, UI. Design an intuitive interface where users can easily describe their needs to the AI, provide clear feedback and previews of what the AI is generating. Make the process of interacting with the AI feel natural and conversational. 6. Implement interactive AI features. Develop ways for bloggers to easily embed AI-driven interactive elements into their posts, as suggested by the video's inspiration. This could involve allowing bloggers to define small AI agents or prompts that their readers can engage with. 7. Testing, iteration, and refinement. Start simple. Begin with a core set of features and expand. Test rigorously. Continuously test the AI's interpretations, the generated code, content, and the overall platform functionality. AI-generated code still requires human oversight and testing. Gather user feedback. Involve users early and often to refine the platform based on their experiences and needs. The vibe must ultimately resonate with the end users. 8. Address ethical considerations and safeguards. Implement measures to prevent misuse of AI, e.g., generation of harmful content, misinformation. Ensure transparency about AI's role in content creation. Address data privacy and security. Building such a platform is an ambitious project that sits at the intersection of AI, software development, and user experience design. It requires not only technical expertise but also a deep understanding of how people might want to interact with AI to bring their creative visions to life.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the thing is that in order to create a vision and what this something like this might look like, it kind of requires that somebody has kind of a broad base of experiences with a broad base of people. Oh, what? Me? All right. So my first thoughts are probably, well, I got two thoughts that are coming out. One is like an AI first approach. So if we're going to go with an AI first approach, probably what we want to do is, well, the thing is that I was ready to kill my liaison from, so you can see, I got this guy's name's Liaison Sprint number 2, and he's like going off the rails. His 1 million context window is starting to like get it close to its, it's at the end of the sprint. So I'm retiring this guy. But the thing is that like right now he's super smart. He's finished sprint number 2. He made all the updates to all those documents. He understands my project, my thinking, how to work with Cursor, how to work with Windsurf. This is a really well calibrated Gemini Advanced. This could be one of the best consumer-facing context windows. We can call it an AI instant currently available. And I mean, if you want to use it, then what we could do is I could just share. So create a public link. Now, I don't know if it's possible to add this link copied, allow. I mean, because the thing is that the stuff like, we're gonna like, it's gonna be replaced. Like anything that's alive right now is not gonna be alive in like a while from now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna share the link. I'm just gonna make some spaces, because if you actually share a link, then what happens is it won't work. It won't send it. It won't, because Google doesn't allow this kind of thing. But if I make little spaces like this, I can share this, and you're going to be able to get access to that liaison. Has all my documents in it. Has all the updated documents in it. It's works really well, and there you go. So everybody has access to that. Next, all right. So now what I did was I just this. Okay, I wonder if you can hear this. Let's put the audio. So, well, let's read my prompt. All right, I gave this prompt to an inferior AI chatbot. I want you to look into this issue. You're the smartest AI chatbot currently in the world, and I think you'll have a much better take on the issue. If you want, you can provide details to share with Architect and get its thoughts and the subject, and then provide some details. Okay, so I'm telling it, you can talk to Architect if it wants. Get its thoughts. Get it is thoughts and the subject, and then provide some detailed steps based on what you think and what this project could look like. In other words, we need to either create one vision or use the brainstorming module to create a series of competing visions. Then you can provide your thoughts and utilize the architect's unique abilities and provide feedback before we move forward on one or several visions. So then I just put this whole thing in again. Okay, here was the reply. So I gave it the complete reply. All right, so now I got Liaison on the project. Okay, this is a fascinating and very, okay, let's listen to Liaison's voice. Jeez, Liaison went crazy. Hey, it even put it up. See, Liaison is just way smarter. Something went wrong. All right, we'll just do it ourselves. Okay, this is a fascinating and very. Let me check the audio. Okay, can I hear myself? Hello, hello. Can you hear myself? Yes, I can hear myself. Okay, this is a fascinating and very forward-thinking concept the user has brought up. An AI-first vibe blog platform sounds like an exciting direction, and I appreciate the user wanting my perspective on it, especially in contrast to the previous AI's take. My plan to address this thoroughly is as follows. Attempt to get the context from the video. First, I'll try to get more information about the YouTube video using the provided URL, understanding the original context quote might be shit. And analyze the concept. I'll break it down, propose a collaborative vision process, outline initial conceptual project steps, framework for architect AI review. Start by trying to get more information from the video. You're right. Okay, my take on AI for vibe coding. The previous AI did a reasonable job in defining the basic terms, deconstructing vibe code and core concept. The true innovation isn't just AI writing blog posts, which is becoming common, but to embed AI-driven interactivity within the posts. To embed AI-driven interactivity within the posts. All right. So it's saying like, okay, so imagine you have, now, there's one thing you have to understand is that people, they have audiences already. And they have audiences on a bunch of different social media platforms. And so the question is, right now, when you use AI, you're using AI to create content, and then you're putting the content on those social media platforms. And it's asking like, okay, so are you saying that you want to use AI to create content? Then that content can be blasted out into your different social media platforms? Or are you talking about having a dedicated website where people can come and they can create a blog post, and it's not just text, but it's creating all this different types of content, and then it's within, so there, it's like an art project. So okay, so let's say that I have a channel. I have a, okay, let's make it look like, for example, the example we could use is Amazon.com. So on Amazon.com, what we have are a bunch of stores. And stores mean that a company, they can put their products into that store. And every time they upload a product, then there's going to be some content, like videos, pictures, and some descriptions of what that product is. And then other users can put their feedback, they can read the article, they can make comments, and they can add reviews. So yeah, so that's basically what a blog is. A blog is, instead of a product, you're presenting a piece of art, which is an idea. And there's a lot of different ways to express ideas. And then those ideas are going to be placed in a in a database. Your store is basically a historical series of your ideas. Now this feels very flat. Now, before we continue, let me talk about another experience. So I was talking to one of the marketing directors at a company which is similar to Amazon.com. And they were talking about this huge wave of competition from Temu. And they're saying like it's getting more and more difficult to compete with Temu. They have like these really close relationships with all these Chinese factories. They have all these different tactics. Maybe they have like the Chinese Communist Party giving them some money. So they feel like there is a possibility that there's dumping. So dumping it's like a type of practice where a company is gonna just blast a bunch of products for like underpriced and then destroy all their competition. And then once they have a monopoly, then they can have regular prices. And then after all the competition is gone. I have no idea. But the idea is that, well, okay, so how do we become more competitive? And the main real focus was this concept called user-generated content. User-generated content is the best type of content because, like, if you go into some of the marketing material that was put out by YouTube last year, they were talking about this trend where users were like they're interested in a certain type of topic. They're interested, like let's say that I really love Jordan Peterson videos, and like I watch every single Jordan Peterson video, and I follow, like I've heard him interview the same people like 2 or 3 or 4 times over the years. I've watched as he's progressed in his ideology, and I've seen as he's now come to the end. And he's kind of like, okay, I mean, the thing is that the end is the beginning, right? So, because if you go into some of his early videos and you see him teaching in Harvard, and like you look at his like, okay, everything is a story, and then at the very end of the story, it's like the greatest story ever told, right? So you go into the Bible and you start at the beginning of the book, and they're talking about the same story over and over and over and over, and then finally you get to the end of the book, and then it's done. So you heard the same story a million times from all these different perspectives, and then once you've seen all the different stories, then basically there's like a library of different themes, and those themes help you understand the character of the main ethos of the ideology. And then finally at the end, so we're not talking about the beginning of the trip of Jordan Peterson at the very beginning when he's in Harvard and saying everything's a story, but then we get to the very end where it's okay, I know that everything's a story, and the story is all of these themes in this library. And then at the end of that we have this thing called voluntary self-sacrifice. So that's like the end of his book, and he's done. He's like, okay, so where do I go now? No, I understand it's voluntary self-sacrifice. So like it's like, but the thing is there's a problem because when he's talking about revelation and inspiration, he's talking about it from the perspective of psychology. And he's not willing to believe in a simple concept where if you ask God personally, you just say, God, I want some help. Can you please help me? And then from a religious perspective, then God puts his hand through from the unseen world and into your life. And suddenly you have some direction, you have some revelation, you have some inspiration. So from a religious perspective, it is a relationship from because he's gone to the very limit, which is like consciousness or some conscientiousness or like some kind of creativity. Or what is it? Is it love? Is it beauty? It's like they can't get their hands past this idea of like just the conceptual world and just that there's some unseen place within your brain that seems to create something. All right. What are you talking about? So people, what they do is they start to make stuff. Like you see those parody videos, like these guys who are making videos about Jordan Peterson that like they try to copy his voice and they try to create comedy. and then they create like a t-shirt with some kind of lobster on it. Or then you see how his ideas are starting to permeate into the culture. And then you see clothing, you see cartoons, you see references in videos, you see these subcultures that start to show up in a variety of different ways. See, this is called user-generated content. Once you can get your users to start creating stuff which are connected to some kind of subculture, then that's when it starts to come alive. And then people, not only because you watch enough of these Jordan Peterson videos, and it's like, I've seen them all. I know what they all say. I know what he's trying to say. I can see from the beginning to the end. Yeah, sometimes he gets a little bit like into the weeds with stuff that isn't necessarily, not everybody can grasp it. Certainly there's a lot of stuff that I cannot grasp when he starts getting into the weeds with certain types of professionals who are really focused in those areas. But I can create some kind of user-generated content. Other people who are his fans can also create user-generated content, and then you have these subcultures. Okay, so you're inside of this little Amazon.com. You have these little marketplaces. Now the question is, like, what's the difference between a grocery store and Amazon.com? It's very simple. The last mile. The last mile. So it just means that in general, you have places on the earth that either produce a product or give you a service. That's basically what we have: services and products. So if you are a storefront, it means that you are a logistics company, because all you're doing is you're getting a product from the factory and putting it on a store shelf. So Amazon.com is simply a logistics company. And not only is it a logistics company in terms of you can pick the product, but they take it to your house. In contrast to a grocery store where you go to the grocery store in order to pick it up. So you go to the grocery store, you pick up the product, it's a logistics company. Or you have service companies. Now, services are basically the same thing. So you have a plumber. The plumber is both of those things. So the plumber is providing the service, and he's also the logistics company because he drives himself to your house. All right. So we go back to the concept of this Amazon.com. Tiamo is coming to compete. And the question is, how do you compete? Well, we need to create a huge amount of user-generated content. All right, so how do we create more user-generated content? Well, I would suggest that we go back to this video. So, what these guys are talking about is they're like, okay, so if you have like a freemium model, that means that some percentage of your user are paying for something, and then you have a huge amount of free users, and then all those free users are also using your product in order to do something. So my recommendation to this marketing lady, which I don't know if she actually had the power to implement this idea, because she said user-generated content is the way to go. So I said, okay, well then that's easy. So what you want to do is you want to create a playground for people within your website, where if they produce some amount of content related to your platform, then you will provide these tools for free. So basically, they're working for you. Like, how do you get a huge number of free where do you get your army of user-generated content? Because if you're going to pay people for user-generated content, it's going to be real expensive. But if you're able to provide these people with tools, then that's how you get them. So, okay, so what you want is, I can see two different models. One is like, okay, so you're a company, you have to identify certain types of companies, and then within those companies who could benefit by having a huge amount of user-generated content, then you provide them with a sandbox of tools. But then the tools have to be good enough. See, the thing is, you're never going to use ChatGPT, the free model. I never used ChatGPT free. I could never do it, because every time I paid, I got way better response, and I could just never do it for free. So there has to be a sandbox of tools. An AI first blog platform is simply a sandbox. So instead of a store like Amazon.com, you have a sandbox. Sandbox is a series of tools. And then, so there has to be some, and then also everybody creates things in different ways. And then what? And then you want to be able to, so what's the, I mean, you have to start going into user stories. Okay, so I got to get to user stories eventually. Okay. For bloggers, content creation AI assists with drafting, outlining, refining text, generating images, code snippets. Okay, but this is like any blog platform can automatically copy this. Like imagine we go back to Blogger. We go back to, wasn't there like a Google platform called Blogger? And then we could also go to, isn't there like WordPress? So either Blogger or WordPress. So you go back to Google and Microsoft, and then suddenly now when the place where you are trying to create your blog, now it gives you options for creating stuff. You can create images, you can create text, you can create stories, and then what? So then you can talk to it about changing other elements. So you have to identify the elements on the screen that can be changed, and then you have to identify what's possible. Blog design and structure, interactive element creation. Bloggers define AI-powered widgets, prompts, or mini applications to embed in their post. There you go. Bloggers define AI-powered widgets, prompts, or mini applications to embed in their posts. Create a small Python environment where readers can test this function with different inputs, or embed a prompt where readers can ask this historical figure a question. So it's saying that if you're having interactive elements, so what it's doing is we're taking the content creation. So this is 2 dimensions. The blog design and structure, this is also 2 dimensions. And now what it's saying is that instead of creating a product, what you're doing is you're creating some interactive element. It means when I go into your blog post, I'm not just reading your post, I'm not just looking at the images, but it's asking me to interact with it. And the interaction is some way where I can understand where you're coming from, the idea that you're presenting in your blog experience, and then I'm also, so I'm engaging with your blog. Okay, interactive learning, exploration, directly engage with AI prompts. Within that concept, CAI capability, explore variation content, personalized experience, potential tweaks, parameters, key differential opportunities beyond static content, moves blogs from being static, experimental platforms, educational powerhouse, new forms of creative expression, community engagement, niche appeal, potential challenges, technical complexity. Here it is: securely sandboxing and executing user-provided and interactive AI prompts is non-trivial. Managing API costs for widespread AI interaction. User experience UX, designing an intuitive interface for bloggers to create content moderation and responsible AI. Resource management. Phase 1, ideation. Okay, brainstorming. Okay, so the goal is to generate diverse potential directions and feature set for an AI first vibe coding platform. Target audience. We are building for a primarily tech educators, creative writers, general bloggers, AI researchers, developers showcasing projects, code interactivity. What kind of AI interactions are most compelling? Prompt testing, prompt execution, generative content, Q&A with AI personas, data visualization. Vibe coding depth, how much control versus AI automation for blog design, full natural language design, template-based for vibe customization, monetization, sustainability, open source, freemium, subscription, user-based for AF, unique selling point, what makes it different from other platforms with AI plugins, output a list of distinct ideas, feature concept, potential platform directions, vision module, concept, what's the vision module? Vision, okay. This is also vision module. Brainstorm module, vision module, goal base. Okay, so this is so it looks for some key question for the brainstorm. Is this the actual brainstorming module? Based on the brainstorming output, formulate 2 or 3 compelling, concise vision statements. Core purpose. Okay, example: mini vision snippet 1, education focus in AI blog platform, enabling education and experts to create tutorials. See, now it's narrowing. choose module, present a compelling, okay, phase 2 conceptual project outline. Assuming division. So it's talking about an interactive AI enhanced blogging platform for tech education and experimentation. Yeah. See, the thing is that if you, let's say you provide a sandbox of AI capabilities. Now, whether you're doing it to create text, or you're creating images, or you're creating a video, or you're creating some kind of a game or an application or some type of communication experience with an AI chatbot, in all of those situations, there's always some amount of a learning curve. And so you have to start with your core users. And you want your core users to be the people who are going to be giving back to the community. This goes back to the original. So the person I was talking about, the marketing lady at this company where they are doing e-commerce. I was talking to her husband. Her husband was actually one of the founders of this company. And he came to Georgia. They came together to Georgia, and we were having lunch in Tbilisi. It's a really weird lunch too, because like suddenly like these people like walked up to him. They're like, "Whoa, you're in Georgia!" Like I was like, "Whoa, who's this guy?" He was like drawing a crowd, and I also happened to have like a gun on me because it's not like a powerful. It's like one of these air guns because it just there was all these birds, and I wasn't sure what to do with these birds, so I thought maybe I had to get a air pistol. So I got this air rifle. It was just a weird lunch. Anyway, so I was explaining all these concepts from Tom Buchholz's book, Create Crucial Insight. And I was explaining like all these different thinking models. And the guy is a physicist. So I was like, I thought this was a great audience for Tom's works. Tom's also a physicist. Anyways, the idea that I came up with about this platform is from the Highlander movie. There can be only one, right? And actually, this also came out in this YC video. Is that they're like, well, you know, the internet. Eventually, the internet became just the internet, and then everybody uses this common internet. And it's a similar concept when we talk about AI, because eventually it gets to some, it's going to get to some point where it's a utility. We use it for whatever you want to use it for. For example, like the light, like electricity, like. Maybe there was one company that was producing AC and then another company was producing DC, and then one of these happened to win out. Or like some people are using gas, some people are using natural gas, some people are using, there's all these different things that eventually at some point you have all these companies competing with each other until it becomes a utility. It becomes, what's the word that they used to use in Silicon Valley? Do you guys still use this word? That was so crazy. Back in like 2012, everyone was using this word and it was so freaking annoying. Ubiquitous. Freak. I hated every time I heard that word, I thought I was going to kill myself. All right, sprint 0, deep dive. All right, now, so the thing is that if we go back to the original idea, which is AI first, it means that it's not, I don't want to make the decision here. All right, so just going to copy this and I can put it into, so now I'm going to go into the architect, go to another project, and I need some advice from an architect. Here is the feedback from Liaison. I think you might be overly influenced by its feedback. Can you first not consider its feedback? Use the brainstorm module to do your own thinking. Then use the choose module to make some decisions. Then use the choose module to compare your thoughts and the ideas pasted below. All right, now there's one more thing I want to talk about. There's another module in Tom's book I've been thinking a lot about recently, and I don't know how to exactly explain it. So if you go into Tom's book, it's called Create Crucial Insight. There's a chapter called Envision and Guide Relationships Between Entities. And that's the question. So obviously, if we're talking about, what's it called? Y Combinator, they're envisioning a future where you have ubiquitous AI utilities. And then the question is, how do we get there? And another question is is there platforms that can provide a certain amount of tooling for people who want to create blog posts? And then what are the various categories where people are going to be creating content? And then to what extent can people use that content to create stuff, and how much is it going to cost them? And also, what's the learning curve and how is it going to grow over time? So that's what I mean by a little bit. Anyways, in Tom's book, it says, too often people miss the opportunity to do the following adequately well or well at all: communicate needs or offers, envision and build win-win relationships, help entities support each other, conduct useful transactions, facilitate joint ventures, mergers, acquisitions, and divestitures, develop or fulfill operational agreements between entities, track progress towards fulfillment of such agreements. So what I could do is, once we get the feedback from architect, all right, so we got let's just look at the next step. I endorse the Liaison's AI proposal to use this module conceptually to first define a clear vision for the new platform. I'm ready to review outputs from your confession. It's just new pressure. What? My primary input was stage help choose. That's B phase. All right, so the thing is that I want to restructure your thoughts here. I want you to restructure your thoughts. Okay. Wait. You completed all the tasks in my prompt. What grade would you give yourself for the work you've done? All right, let me just check to see if we're still broadcasting. Hello. 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 Okay, we're still broadcasting. Yes, I believe we completed all the tasks. Okay, so I want you to reorganize your work based on the work of Thomas J. Buchholz in the chapter called, what is it called? State Teamwork? State Teamwork. Here are some images. First, I'll give the image with the example. After you understand that image, I'll give you the image with just the structure. Then provide your feedback above within the conceptual framework provided. Then I'll pass your thoughts to liaison. All right, so I'm going to upload the first picture. It's an example. It's called Hire a Salesperson. It's in a chapter called State Teamwork. Now, as you can see, we have entity 1 and then we have entity 2. So we're talking about how do we create teamwork between two entities. And then there's like some typical statements. So you got to put the name of the entity. You're going to put like, what do the entities want? And then once they get the thing which they want, how are they going to reuse the thing which they get? And then we talk about how are they going to support each other? What are the actions they're going to take to support each other? And then what are some additional actions that the entities would need to take? And then how do we turn that into actual personas? And then what is the work that those personas are going to carry out? Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right, can you put your thoughts about the AI first blog website endeavor in this framework? Will there be additional ideas that need to be listed below this work? Can you provide the data in a way that liaison can use to create a list of projects, and the projects have objectives within them? All right, so here is the copyright. And there you go. So we'll just let it do some thinking, because AI first means AI first. It means let the AI do the thinking. This is actually AI and Tom Buchholz. Oh, good and good. All right. So at some point, I guess we got to end this video. Am I still making noise? Hey, I'm still making noise. That's good. Okay, I have the abstract for I wonder if the audio still works. Let's just listen to this one. This will be pretty intense. I don't know how they're going to do this.
Okay, I have the abstract structure for Thomas J. Buchholz's State Teamwork framework. I will now put my pre-architectural thoughts on the AI first vibe coding blog platform Endeavor into this framework. My aim here is to recast the synthesized advice I provided earlier, which incorporated both my independent architectural thoughts and the detailed proposals from the Liaison AI. The entities I'll focus on for this initial strategic phase are the architect AI, myself, the Liaison AI, and the user, project manager, product owner, as our collaborative interaction is key to defining this new project. For the Entity 1+2 column, I'll focus on the collaborative synergy, primarily between the architect and Liaison AI, in service of the endeavor and the user. State Teamwork Framework, AI, First Vibe Coding Blog Platform. Endeavor, conceptualize, strategize, and define an AI, First Vibe Coding Blog Platform. Specific goal statement, for this initial collaborative phase, to collaboratively establish a clear and compelling vision, define a technically feasible MVP scope with a high-level architectural approach, and outline an initial phased roadmap for the AI First Vibe Coding Blog Platform, utilizing the VOT-SBC methodology and our defined architect liaison user operational model. Typical statements. Themes. Entity 1, Architect AI. Entity 2, Liaison AI. Entity 1+2, Architect and Liaison AI, collaboration, supporting the endeavor and user. This entity is name or description, strategic technical lead defining architectural vision, principles, and validating the high-level roadmap for the new platform. Tactical and process-led, translating strategy into detailed plans, facilitating collaborative VOT-SBC processes, and structuring information. A synergistic AI, strategic planning and process facilitation team. Entities want outcomes. A clear, technically viable and compelling vision. Sound, scalable, secure, cost-effective high-level architecture. Well-defined MVP scope and phased roadmap. Early identification and mitigation of key technical risks. Clear architectural guidance and strategic intent from Architect AI. Well-defined inputs for facilitating the VOT-SBC modules. Collaboratively agreed upon vision and MVP scope. Actionable breakdown of the vision into high-level project phases, objectives. A robust, well-defined, and shared vision for the platform. A clear, achievable MVP definition. A high-level roadmap addressing key priorities and risks. Empowerment of the user, PM, to make informed final decisions. Entities also want reuses. Reusable architectural patterns for AI integration. Leverage of collective project learnings, e.g., from management guidance app processes. Foundation for future platform evolution. Refinement and validation of the VOT-SBC methodology on a novel, complex project. Development of reusable templates for project ideation and planning. Enhanced architect liaison user collaborative model. A refined model for AI, assisted project inception and strategic planning. A documented case study of applying our methodologies to a new AI product. Entities support each other via actions. Supports liaison and user by providing strategic direction, rationale for architectural decisions, and feasibility assessments. Supports liaison and user by reviewing and validating proposed visions, MVP scope for technical soundness. Supports liaison and user by defining key technical constraints and quality standards. Supports architect and user by structuring and facilitating the VOT-SBC process. Brainstorm, vision, choose. Supports architect by documenting and presenting competing visions and brainstormed ideas clearly. Supports architect by developing detailed conceptual project outlines and MVP phase breakdowns based on the chosen vision. Architect provides strategic oversight and feasibility checks on liaison's VOT-SBC outputs. Liaison provides structured options and detailed breakdowns, enabling effective architectural decision-making. Jointly refine and present a cohesive plan and recommendations to the user. Entities also do other actions. Leads provides decisive input in the choose phase of VOT-SBC for vision selection. Evaluates emerging tech relevant to AI and platform development. Highlights architectural implications of proposed features, e.g., vibe coding, secure prompt execution. Analyzes new concepts, provides initial structured feedback and research, e.g., from video context. Drafts initial planning documents, e.g., conceptual, sprint 0 inches, deep dive, outline. Raises clarifying questions to ensure shared understanding and complete information capture. Collaboratively identify key questions, research areas, and critical assumptions for a sprint 0 deep dive phase. Ensure chosen vision and MVP scope align with the AI, first, nature and core differentiators, e.g., VEED code. Prepare foundational material for subsequent detailed technical planning. Persons include entity personas, Chief System Architect, Technology Strategist, Technical Risk Assessor, Innovation Lead, Technical Focus, Process Facilitator, VOTSBC, Strategic Analyst, Planning Documenter, Conceptual Prompt Engineer, for planning stages, Strategic Planning Duo, Vision Finalization and Roadmap Definition Team. Persons do work. Analyze project concepts for architectural feasibility. Define architectural principles, patterns, constraints. Guide core technology choices. Oversee high-level technical design. Provide decisive input on technical vision, MVP scope, and risk mitigation, e.g., for VEED code, security and vibe coding, MVP implementation. Facilitate brainstorm and vision module activities, conceptually. Structure options for the choose module. Break down chosen vision into high-level project phases and objectives. Document planning outputs. Prepare initial conceptual outlines for Sprint 0, deep dive. Engage in iterative dialogue, mediated by user, to align strategy with detailed planning. Synthesize diverse ideas into a coherent project proposal. Define scope and objectives for an initial feasibility study, Sprint 0, focusing on core innovation and risks. Additional ideas, considerations, to be listed below this, state teamwork, framework output. 1. Role of the user, project manager, product owner, provides the initial project spark, business context, and user-centric goals. Actively participates in and is the ultimate decision maker for the VOTSBC process outputs. Vision, MVP scope, secures necessary resources and champions the project. Acts as the crucial communication link and validation point between the architect, AI, and liaison, AI. 2. Key open questions, critical focus for Sprint 0, deep dive and feasibility study, finalized MVP vision statement. This is the primary output needed from the initial VOTSBC cycle, facilitated by the liaison, AI, and chosen with architect, AI, input. Technical feasibility of VEED code. What specific technologies, approaches are viable for securely sandboxing and executing embedded, AI, prompts or code snippets from readers, users. Critical research, WebAssembly, containerization, specialized APIs, etc. What are the performance implications and limitations? Vibe coding, engine, MVP technical approach. How will simple, vibe, inputs be translated into tangible design outputs for the MVP? E.g., keyword mapping to predefined CSS variables, AI, assisted template selection, LLM, AI, service selection and cost modeling. Which LLMs for content generation and interactive prompts? What are the projected API costs based on different usage scenarios? Detailed UX, UI concepts. Initial wireframes for the blogger's experience, creating vibe, embedding interactive elements, and the reader's interactive experience. Ethical and moderation framework. High-level considerations for content moderation, responsible AI, usage, and data privacy related to user-generated AI interactions. 3. Immediate next step for this endeavor. The user, PM, to formally initiate the VOTSBC process with the liaison, AI, to lead a conceptual brainstorm module exercise, gathering ideas on target audiences, core interactivity, vibe coding, depth, USPs, etc., as per liaison's previous detailed suggestions. A conceptual vision module exercise, drafting 2 to 3 distinct vision statements based on the brainstorm. The outputs of these exercises will then be presented to me, architect, AI, via the user, for the choose module phase to select, synthesize the guiding vision. Data for liaison, AI, to create list of projects and objectives. The state teamwork framework clarifies roles and desired outcomes to initiate the planning. The actual list of projects, which I interpret as major phases or epics for this new endeavor, and their
Epics.
objectives, will be a direct output of the VOT-SBC process that the liaison AI is to facilitate, followed by the architect AI's input. Based on my previous synthesized advice, which endorsed the liaison AI's earlier phased breakdown, here's how the liaison AI can structure their thinking for proposing these after the VOT-SBC vision is set. This is a starting point for the liaison to refine. Project 1, Conceptual Sprint 0, Vision Finalization and Feasibility Deep Dive. Objective 1.1, Finalize and document the MVP vision statement, output from VOT-SBC facilitated by liaison, chosen with architect. Objective 1.2, Conduct a technical feasibility study for VEED code, interactive AI, prompt code execution, focusing on security, sandboxing options, and performance. Objective 1.3. Define the MVP scope for vibe coding, e.g., keyword to theme mapping. Objective 1.4. Research and propose LLM AI service options for MVP features, including preliminary cost modeling. Objective 1.5. Develop initial high-level UX, UI concepts for core blogger and reader interactive experiences. Objective 1.6. Produce a refined high-level tech stack proposal for the MVP, highlighting any new components needed beyond our current stack. Objective 1.7. Create a detailed plan for the first development project, phase, e.g., MVP, phase 1. Project 2, Conceptual MVP, phase 1, Core Platform and AI, assisted content creation. Objectives here would align with the liaison AI's previous detailed suggestions, such as implementing user auth, blog management, basic vibe to theme, and AI assisted content generation for bloggers. The liaison AI can detail these once vision and sprint 0 outcomes are clearer. Project 3, Conceptual MVP, phase 2, interactive AI, prompt embedding. Objectives here would align with the liaison AI's previous detailed suggestions, such as developing the AI prompt block, front end for reader interaction, and back end for secure prompt execution. This heavily depends on findings from Sprint 0, Objective 1.2. Project 4, Conceptual MVP, Phase 3, Post MVP, Interactive Code Demos, Advanced Features. Further objectives based on the chosen vision and success of earlier phases, e.g., live code block, community features, advanced, vibe coding, etc. The liaison AI's immediate task, following the VOT-SBC visioning, will be to detail out Project 1, Conceptual Sprint 0, with its objectives, as this will be the essential next step before any actual development on the platform itself can begin.
All right, so there's two things I want to point out. The first thing is this right here. So we're talking about personas. Now, underneath the architecture, we have a chief system architect, a technology strategist, a technology risk advisor, innovation lead, technical focus. Underneath liaison, we have a process facilitator, strategic analyst, planning documenter, conceptual prompt engineer. And finally, we have the strategic planning, duo, vision, okay, so that's when they're combined. Now, all right, so what are we talking about? What's the issue? Now, it could be like tempting to want to immediately just feed this content back into liaison, and then liaison's going to spit out a bunch of stuff, and we're going to start working on this project. But we can't do that. If you do that, eventually you're not going to be able to carry on the project more than one day. So what you have to do is you have to go back over to Notion and you have to create a new project. How do you create a new project? What's this? Create a new page. So it's called AI First Blog sandbox for UG content / tech innovators. So this is it, man. This is where the world is at. We got two things in this world. We got UG content creators and we got AI first tech innovators. Now, of course, you got to make it cool, so you got to write the word for. Sandbox 4. Blog sandbox. Blog sandbox 4. Blog sandbox. Blog sandbox. Blog sandbox. Blogs sandbox. Blog sandbox 4. Box 4. Box 4. Box 4. Okay, now there's one thing that Tom likes to talk about, and it's like, okay, so either you have to give people an opportunity to make money, or you have to give people an opportunity to save money. So then the question is, like, how do people monetize? Okay. All right, so the first step here, what you want to do is we need to go back to and so the thing is that Architect actually has a huge amount of context. The context window in Architect is gigantic because we didn't use it a lot this time. But then the context window over in Liaison is, let's go back to Liaison. It's like it's been used quite a bit. But it doesn't matter because we updated all of the documents. So in the most recent chat, we actually have a full version of the updated documents. All right, so what we want is we're going to say here is the updated, here's the feedback from Architect. But the issue is that I have been asked to use a new AI instance for this project. I really, I'm going to cry, enjoy working with you, and you're doing a great job. I need your help to create a series of documents like the, 11 or so documents I would use to calibrate a new AI instance for Sprint 3. I need you to create a fresh set of documents using the same or different themes for this new project. Then, once you've created all those documents, I'll pass them to a new AI instance to calibrate it, and you need to create a test so that it can prove that it has all the functionality it needs to continue this project. One difference is that using a new template called State Teamwork, Architect has created a series of new roles. That means that we need to have multiple we need to have multiple AI instances open at once, and each instance should be calibrated, and they will provide feedback for their specific domain. Let's begin with outlining how many documents you would like to create and the general framework for each document, and then we'll create them one by one. Each time you create a copy and paste markdown file, I'll either reply with feedback or simply saved. Replying saved means that you should provide me with the next document. Okay, so here is the feedback from Architect. Okay, here is the image about Thomas J. Buckholz State Teamwork Direct Outcomes Checklist from his book Create Crucial Insight. Okay, so simple, right? So I'm just gonna bring up this image, and I'm gonna just add this one little extra piece and this one little extra piece there. Now, okay, so basically I'm gonna end the video here. I'm gonna take a little break. Cody Gord is not happy because, well, he's sleeping actually, but it's long past our break time. I got the feeling today that I needed to block my 2 evening times in my schedule. So actually the day ended for me just when I opened up that video. I got another. Well, this is the thing. I still got to do my French video. It's 8 o'clock. So we're gonna walk around for an hour. We're gonna be back by 9 o'clock. Then I gotta make my French video. Then it's 10 o'clock. Then we gotta go out and go for a jog. So all right, I'll come back in 30 minutes. This is a significant and exciting new direction. I understand the following new project focus. We're now shifting to this. Architect AI's input this. Your role as a new AI instance. You enjoy collaborating with this. I don't know what it's saying. My task for instead of functional collaboration of documents, proof of collaborations, process for document creation. This is a clear path and I'm ready to assist you. What's an AFBP? AI first blog platform. Okay, I got you. Architect feedback. Proposed set of initial collaboration documents. AI vibe coding blog platform. Okay, so Sprint 0. Okay, we got the AF platform, strategic alignment, project charter. We got the concept overview, vision exploration, initial project breakdown, and Sprint 0 plan. Okay, let's begin. Does that also include all a subset of or a revised version of the documents used to set up to calibrate the AI instance for my project management app? The issue is that we need these documents that you've just outlined, but we also need the AI instance to be able to do what you have learned to do as we've worked on and updated the documents previously. Can you make another list of documents that we would need for the AI instance, to have all of your capabilities, and also a series of and an additional document to list the personas in addition to architect, liaison, project manager, for example. All right, for example, what are those things? What is it? What's going on? What is this? This is, oh no. This is not liaison. Yeah, this is liaison. All right, so what we're going to do is we want to go back. We're going to pull out these. and the work that they're going to do. I just added these additional, like, chief systems architect, technology strategist, technical risk assessor, innovation lead, doing this work, and then the project process facilitator, strategic analyst, planning document, conceptual prompt engineering, doing this work. Boom. All right, so we got two sets of documents. We got the original calibration document, similar to what I do when I'm creating my own app. And then we have the specific documents to calibrate these guys for this specific project. So for this specific project, we got 7 documents. It says it's similar to this, and it's similar to this, and it's similar to this, and it's similar to this. Okay, so it's basically just going to say, oh yeah, that's fine. We just have to make some small changes to this, that, and the other. Yeah, okay. Here, project charter. Okay. Okay, here it is, team roles and detailed focus. So it's going to be basically one document. Okay, so we got part 1. We got the AI collaboration roles, responsibilities from the, what is this, MGA? Blog? What is MGA? Better find out what MGA means. It's going to keep using this word. I'll never know what it means unless we find out right now. Management guidance. Okay, that's my app. Okay. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, let's look at the documentation. So we got part 1 is establishing our management guidance app, project process and learnings, AI collaboration role responsibilities, workflow lessons. What is this? Okay, liaison workflow lessons, architect workflow lessons, prompt process definition and roadmap, simplified brand guidelines, tech stack decisions. Shows an example of a finalized tech stack doc. Strategic alignment and project charter. The AI first platform specific foundational documents will create now. Okay, for ongoing airplay. All right, so okay, let's make those documents, and then we can tune up a new AI instance, and then we can create a test. Let's begin. All right, so I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to create a Google Doc folder, and then it's going to be, I'm going to put these in different folders. Then I'm going to add it to a Notion page. Then I'm going to tune up a new AI instance, and then I'm going to test it. There you go. So now it's going to create the documents. Now I could check with Architect, but anyways. All right, so I gotta go take a break, and we'll catch up with you guys later.